Hey guys, so for today's video I am going to be doing my nails, and I'm going to be doing this really cool like mood ring type of set. But before I get into that, I did just want to give an update on the LGN builder gel that I used. Here you can see this is about 3.5 weeks of grow out for me. My nails do grow kind of slow, but as you can see here, there is absolutely no lifting on any of these nails. They held up very well. And I am actually pretty rough with my hands and nails. I'm constantly like hitting them and smacking them against stuff. So I am really impressed with this builder gel and how well it holds up, and the fact that I had no lifting, especially not using a primer. I said when I put these on, usually I have to use a primer, but I decided not to, just to try it out and see what would happen, and it all held on very well. So I do like how this gel has held up, and I definitely recommend it if you are wanting to try something new. So as you saw, I did just go ahead and clip off all the extra length off the nails. I made sure to cut above where my natural nail is, because if you cut your natural nail, it could split up into like your nail bed area and cause cracking on your natural nail and into your nail bed, and that just hurts and is uncomfortable, and it just isn't a fun time. After I get the length cut down, I'm going in with my e-file and this ceramic cone bit. I don't know if this is necessarily the correct bit to use when taking down bulk or like removing nail enhancements. I have stated previously that I went to cosmetology school, and like, you know, you learn hair, skin, and nails, but in the course that I took, we spent 8 days on nails, and this was a year-long program, and we really didn't learn about the e-file and stuff. So everything that I know about the e-file is, you know, from me learning that on my own and going through trial and error. So yeah, this just is what works for me, so I just stick with it. And I file that down till I have a very thin layer of this gel. The LGN gel is a hard gel, so it cannot be soaked off. It does have to be filed off, but because I don't want to damage my natural nails, I do leave a thin layer, and then I went in with a 100-180 hand file and filed off some more of that to get it even thinner. And then I did go ahead and put cuticle oil on because it was late at night and I wasn't going to put anything on my nails for the rest of the night. So I did just want to rehydrate my skin and nails and everything overnight. So I did put some cuticle oil on. So now I'm just going in and prepping my nails. I'm starting by pushing back the cuticles. Well, okay, so technically you're actually pushing back the eponychium to expose more of your nail plate. So you're not really pushing back the cuticles, although you can scrape up some of the cuticles, because cuticle is the dead skin that is on the nail plate itself. Which scraping it back can help loosen it up a little bit. It can also get it off your nail plate. And then going in with the ball bit here, I am just going around and getting up any remaining cuticle that is on the nail plate. Next, I take this bit. I'm really not sure exactly what this bit is. It came with my e-file, which I have the McCart, I want to say it's the Stephanie one, which I don't think they sell anymore. It came with it. It really kind of didn't tell me what it was or anything. It does feel like a pumice stone, however you say that, the little stones that you use to like scrape off the dead skin off of your feet or whatever. So I use that to just go around on the skin and just smooth out my skin and get rid of any like overhang or anything. After that, I do go in with my e-file again and a sanding band. I think this is a 180 sanding band, and I'm just roughing up the nails a little bit so that way the product that I put on my nails adheres to it. And the whole time I am going at 5 RPMs when working on my natural nails. When working on your natural nails, you don't want to do too much force or pressure, and you don't want your e-file to be going super fast because that can cause a lot of damage, and we want to try and prevent as much damage as possible. After that, I size out my nail tips, and I am using the LGN extra long C-curve square tips. I personally prefer C-curve tips because I like how they look. The C-curve also does give added strength onto your nails versus having no C-curve there, but you know, it really is just personal preference. So if you like no C-curve, use no C-curve. If you like the C-curve, use the C-curve. After that, I go in and I etch the insides of them that will be attached to my natural nail. Again, to help the product stick to the tips themselves. And then, well, you can use your primer, your primer to chemically etch them if you want and avoid the dust. I just go in with my e-file because it's quicker, and then I wipe off my natural nails with some alcohol to remove any of the dust. Then I'm taking the LGN dehydrator and applying that to my nails as well as the tips to get rid of any oils that may have been left behind. Now I'm going in with the LGN rubber base, and I am applying that to the tip and then sticking that onto my nail, and I flash cure that with the LGN gooseneck lamp that I have. And then after I get all the tips on, I do put my hand in my full-size lamp and cure for a full 60 seconds. After I got my tips on, I'm just going in with my primer and chemically etching the tips. I didn't want to etch them with my e-file or a hand file because these are going to be like a clear based nail, and I just feel like etching them with a hand file or an e-file kind of makes it not as clear versus as if you chemically etch them. So that is why I did that. Now I'm going in with the rubber base from LGN again and applying that to the entire length of the nail, my natural nail, and the nail tip, and then I cure that for 60 seconds. And I don't blend the tips into my natural nail. I just find that step unnecessary. Like, it really doesn't make any kind of difference whatsoever. But if that's something you like to do, then you can do that, but you really don't have to if you don't want to. I also don't cut down my tips. I leave them all the length that they are. I don't file off that little bit on the end either, because I'm like, it's gonna get covered up and I'm gonna file it off at the end anyhow, so I'm just saving myself some time by leaving out those steps at this point in time and just doing that at the end. So like I said, these are going to be clear, so I'm taking Crystal Clear from LGN and going in with a small amount here first and applying that to the entire nail. This is going to be my slip layer, and this just makes it easier to apply the gel and get it onto the nail and get it to where you want it and how you want it, it just allows the gel to flow a little more nicely versus just putting it straight onto your nail or the nail tip, because gel sticks to gel, so it's easier to maneuver it when it's already on some gel itself. So I just apply that little bit, don't cure it, and then I grab a larger amount of the builder gel and float that on top, and I use this larger amount to build up my apex and the structure of the nail. With the slip layer, I try to get that as close as possible to the like cuticle, eponychium, whatever you want to call it. And then I don't put this larger glob right up next to that spot. I do put it down a little bit farther down, basically where I want my apex to start, and then drag the gel the rest of the way down the nail, and then I will go in and kind of push it up a little bit and feather it up into the cuticle area. That just helps me get a nice clean cuticle, and there's no spillage or like bulky cuticle. It just helps keeps it nice and smooth and thin. And I do just want to say this is only my second time using LGN Builder Gel. First time using the clear, which does act a little bit differently than the nude one. Clear does tend to be a little more sticky and runny, although this isn't super sticky or runny. It does have a like thicker consistency, so it is a lot easier to use and maneuver compared to the Savvyland Builder Gel that I used to use. So that being said, I do still have to work things out and try and figure out the best way for me to apply this product and to use it. So I do have a lot of air bubbles on my application just because I'm still trying to figure it out and figure out how to maneuver it so I don't get those air bubbles. I had the same issue when I first started using the Savvyland Builder Gel. I had air bubbles all the time throughout the nail, but the more I used it, the better I got with it, and I was able to get it to where I wouldn't have air bubbles. So we're just going to ignore the air bubbles because, like I said, this is my second time using this product. First time using this color specifically, so there is still some things I need to learn about this product and how to apply it in the best way for me. So on that pinky nail, you did see me flip over my hand. You'll see me do it again for this nail too. That is just to allow gravity to kind of pull that gel down and to help get a nice even layer of the gel, and to kind of help with the apex as well, just letting gravity kind of do its thing and pull the gel down to the like center of the nail. And then once I get it how I like it, I do flash cure it for about 30 seconds and then move on to the next nail. After I get all of the nails built up, I do go ahead and cure for a full 60 seconds. And I did go ahead and do the rest of the nails off camera just because I didn't want this video to get super long. For the filing, I'm just showing my thumbnail again because I don't want this to get super long. But I start off by filing the edges of the nail, and then I go down the surface of the nail. And I don't have to do too much filing around the cuticle area just because of the way that I apply the gel and how I don't put a whole lot of product up there near that area in the first place. But I do file there to make sure that the entire nail is filed and smooth. And you can tell if you are finished filing or not based off of how the nail looks. If you still have those shiny spots like I do there, you're not done filing. The file hasn't touched those spots, so keep going over the nail until the entire nail is like roughed up and matte and you don't have those shiny spots anymore. And I do use an 80/80 file. It just makes the filing process go a whole lot quicker for me. And then once I'm done filing, I go in with a 100/180 grit buffer and I start on the 100 side, buff all the nails with that, and then I do flip it over and use the 180 side and buff it with that just to make sure I can get as many of the scratches out as possible and get the nail nice and smooth and ready for the nail art that is going to go on top. And I do have videos on my channel going more in depth on my prep, application, and filing. And I typically don't show me doing all of this in my videos. I just prefer to mainly focus on like the nail art aspect of everything versus the application and all of that. I don't know, that's just like my personal preference. When I watch videos, I mainly just like to watch for the nail art itself and not necessarily the application, unless like they're doing something crazy with the application, like they're doing color blocking or ombreing or something like that. Also, when filming, it takes like twice as long to get anything done because you have to make sure you're in frame and in focus and everything. And I like to just hurry up and get it all done and not worry about all of that. So I like to do it all off camera anyhow. After I get the filing and buffing and all that done, I do go in and wash my hands with soap and water with that little scrub brush how I showed in that last clip. And then once I'm done washing my hands, I do wipe off the nails with alcohol just to remove any leftover oils and soap and stuff that may be left behind. So now for the fun part, which is the nail art. I am going in with this Aurora top coat. I got it off of Temu. I'll see if I can find it and link it for you. It's just this really pretty like glitter gel top coat. It's like iridescent flakes in it and they like reflect like greens and blues, purples, and all of that, and I just thought it was really pretty and it would add a little something to the background of the nails so they just weren't plain clear nails. I did want to add a little bit of sparkle to them and I was really liking how this looked, so I am just applying this to all of my nails. And once I get it applied, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. I do also want to mention that while I was filing my nails, I did go ahead and take my ball bit and file off the numbers on the tips. That way you couldn't see them through once I was finished with the nails. Also, I forgot, I did end up doing 2 coats of this glitter top coat just because I wanted a little bit more glitter than what 1 coat was giving. After I got this on, I noticed that there were some like white splotches on the underneath of the nail. That is from the alcohol. Sometimes the alcohol will like eat away at your nail tip. So if you experience that, you can just take your primer and apply that, chemically etch the nail, and then it will go away. But you do want to top coat them because the primer does leave the nail a little bit sticky and you don't want to be attracting all kinds of like dust and gunk and whatever under there. So just go ahead and top coat those after you chemically etch them. I'm applying the shiny top coat from LGN and then I cure that for 60 seconds. So now I'm going to be taking this liquid crystal paint from Solar Color Dust, and what this is the stuff that they use on like mood rings and necklaces and stuff like that. So it does change colors based off of, you know, the temperature range, as you can see here. I got this stuff for Christmas and I've been so excited to use it because I just thought it would be super cool. I've seen Emily Susanna use something like this before. I don't know if she used this exact brand or not. It's been a few years since I've seen that video, but I saw her use this before and I was like, that is so cool, and I want to get something like that so I can do something like that on my nails. And I finally got it, and I did go ahead and test it off camera just to see like how it applies and how long it would take to dry and all of that. So this was my little tester nail that I did, and here you can see it changing colors and everything, and it's just super cool. So now I'm just going in and buffing my nails again because I did put a top coat on the nails. The surface was smooth and it doesn't have that sticky layer, so I wanted to make sure everything would adhere to the nail nicely and I wouldn't experience any chipping or anything. And then I do go ahead and wipe off the nails with some alcohol to remove all that dust. Now I'm taking Perfect Black from Madam Glam, and I want to say this is the 22mm liner brush, and just drawing on some random like squiggly lines on my nails, and I fill those in. And you will see me go in after I get them all filled in and just touch up the lines to make sure they're nice and crisp and clean. These first little squiggles that I do aren't perfect or anything. I'm just trying to get the basic shape down, and then I'll go in and clean everything up and make it look nice after I get that basic shape down. And then once I get it on, I do flash cure it real quick so then I can move on to the next nail. That way I'm not messing up the previous nail. After I get these little squiggles on all of the nails, I do go ahead and cure for a full 60 seconds. And I ended up only doing one coat of the black. I felt like it was good enough. The instructions on the package for the mood paint does say to apply it to a black surface. So that is why I'm going in with the black here to make sure that the mood paint has the best effect. And I'm pretty sure I don't show myself doing all 5 of the nails just because it got a little repetitive and it's basically the same thing over and over again. I felt like it'd be pretty boring to watch me draw on random squiggles on my nails over and over again. Also, this wasn't the original idea that I had for this mood paint. I do have a different design in mind that I want to do, but I did want to leave this as like an experimental type of set just to test out this product and see how well it will hold up with everyday wear and tear on the nails. And just to kind of get an idea of how it actually works and everything. So I will eventually do another set with this and do the original idea that I had for it. But like I said, I was just kind of keeping this kind of experimental and just testing it out and seeing how it works. So this is kind of a pretty random set that has like no real kind of theme or like design going on. I just was messing around and started drawing on squiggles and just went with it, honestly. And on the Solar Color Dust website, it does say that you can use this mood paint on nails. You have to get the pure form one because they have a couple different types of it for different types of projects you do. Like, so if you do purchase this one, I will leave it linked down below so you can have the link to the exact product. But also, if you just go to the website on your own, you do want to read the description and make sure that it is the one that says it can be used for nail art, because there is, like I said, there's a couple other kinds of it that they recommend using it for other stuff and not for nail art. So just be aware of that. And then after I got all of the black lines on, I did go ahead and wipe them off with some alcohol to remove that sticky layer. I did test that out on my little tester nail to see if it would be better to wipe the sticky layer off or not before applying the mood paint, but it didn't have any kind of effect either way. I'm just so used to wiping off the previous layer before adding something on top anyhow, so I just went ahead and wiped it down before applying that mood paint. After I got them all wiped off, I grabbed one of my like super cheap, not very good nail art brushes that you know can buy off of Amazon, or they'll come in like those big like nail art kits or whatever, and they're like those cheap little plastic nail art brushes. Because I didn't know how this would affect my brushes, I didn't want to use one of my good brushes and mess it up, so that's why I'm using one of the cheaper ones that I don't care if it gets messed up or anything. And I am going to just apply that onto the nail like I would a regular nail polish or gel polish. It does say to apply in thin layers, so I am trying to make sure the layers are as thin as possible. And honestly, a little bit of this stuff goes a long way. Like, you'll see I'll apply a little bit, like I have this glob here, and it will cover a lot of surface there, so you really aren't using very much of it. And then it does say you want to make sure you let this air dry and make sure it's 100% completely dry before sealing it in or adding on any more layers. I did decide to go in with 2 layers of this mood paint just to make sure that everything was nice and even and all of the black was completely covered. You're gonna know that this stuff is dry because, as you can see on the pinky nail, it is starting to change colors. When you first apply it, it does go on like this cream type of a color, and then as it dries, it does start changing the colors that it changes, like the mood paint changes, so it's turning those blues, greens, and oranges and all of that as it dries. And then once it's completely dry, it will be like that solid like bluish purple color. You'll see as it dries like how it changes and what it looks like when it's completely dry. And then once it was completely dry, I did, like I said, go in with a second layer there just to make sure everything was all covered. This was so cool to watch dry and see it change all of those colors. When I was first applying this, I'm like, how am I gonna know if it's dry or not? Because I thought it was just gonna dry clear for some reason. And then when I saw it changing colors, I was like, whoa, okay, that's how I know that it's dry, because it's changing colors as it's drying. And it was just super cool to see. And just seeing it here again on the screen and watching it on camera is really cool too. I will say this took the longest for out of everything that I did on this nail set, mainly just because of the drying time. It did take about 10 minutes for this stuff to completely dry, and some spots I did go a little heavy-handed and it was a little bit thicker, so it did take a little bit longer in some spots to dry, but for the most part it took about 10-ish minutes or so to completely dry. And like I said, I did 2 coats, so that was in total about 20 minutes, plus I did it on both hands, so like 40-ish minutes there just drying. So if you are going to get this and use this, just know that you're gonna spend quite a bit of time just waiting for it to dry all the way before you can continue on. And it does have to air dry. It's not a gel, it's just a normal paint, so you can't cure it or do anything special really to hurry up the drying process. So here you can kind of see what it looks like when it is completely dry. As you can see, the parts that are on the nail tip are that like dark blue purple color, and then the parts that are on my nail bed are kind of like a blue, green, orange, yellow mix there. That is because it's on my natural nail bed, and that is obviously warmer because you know, all the blood flow and your body temperature and whatever. So that does pretty much always stay like that different color versus on the like extended part that stays that like bluish purpley color, because like it does change based off of temperature, and like I said, your body temperature is a lot warmer than like just the outside air, unless you go outside and it's like 100 degrees out or whatever, but you get what I mean. After I got both layers on and they were completely cured, I am going in with the LGN Shiny Top Coat and top coating all of the nails. You do want to make sure you get it all completely covered and sealed in. I did have a nail where I like missed a little spot and the paint ended up chipping and I had to like go in and fix that real quick. So just make sure you are completely covering everything and getting it all the way sealed in. That way you're not having the mood paint chip off at all. After I get the top coat on, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Now I'm just going in with my cuticle oil. I've stated in my last video that I have been using hand cream more often than cuticle oil, but I do still use cuticle oil sometimes, and I decided to use the cuticle oil this time around. But this is what they look like, and I think these are the coolest nails that I have ever done. I am so in love with this like mood paint stuff, and I'm just constantly sitting here touching my nails to get the color change going on. It is so cool and it's so fun just to sit here and play with them. And look at that, you can just see the color changing right there, and it changes right in front of your eyes. The design itself doesn't make any sense and it's weird and I don't know, but it's still fun and I really love it. They're just so much fun to play around with. And this clip is in real time, so this is just how fast the color does change when you touch it and when you just let it cool down and go back to its like original state. So that's really cool. It's super fun. I'm also really happy that I did the glitter background. Like, it just adds a little bit of more like pizzazz and just makes it a little more fun and not as boring. I feel like if it was just a plain clear background, it would have been a little boring. I mean, it wouldn't be boring because the color changing and everything, but I don't know, the glitter just adds a little bit. And then I really like how this glitter looks on the black, like with a black background. I showed it there underneath how it looks. It kind of gives a different like color shift to it, which is really cool looking. But you know, the main star of the show here is the color changing mood paint that is on the nails. I was just having so much fun filming these like final takes of the nails because it was just so much fun to play with them and get them to change colors. I took so many pictures and videos of these nails. Like, I honestly can't get enough of them. I also really like how what's on like the nail plate or nail bed area does just always have that like little bit of color there. It kind of gives like an ombre or like gradient effect without even having to try, which is super fun. And then going outside and filming like outside shots of these nails was fun because like they were changing just being out in the sun. I am in Arizona, so it was like, I want to say it was like 75, 80 degrees when I was outside. So they were changing just being outside. I also had brought out a bowl of water, like warm water, so I could dip my hand into them and then pull it out and see like what kind of color change I would get. And that's what I did for this clip. I like stuck it in the water and then pulled it out, and this is just what was going on. as I was filming. You can see it's like changing, just me sitting here with it being outside. Like, it was just so fun to see how they looked and how much they would change just based off of, you know, different areas that I was in, or like being in the direct sunlight, dipping them into water. This next clip, I have two bowls, one with warm water, one with cool water, and you can just see how the color shifts and changes, again, based on the temperature of it heating up or cooling down. Like, these are just so fun, and I'm literally having so much fun with these nails. I'm constantly like rubbing them and running them underwater and stuff just to see all the different color changes. And having these nails is so fun because at any given moment they will just change color, because I like had them sitting against me, or I'm just letting them sit out in the open. And it's like you have something different on your nails all the time. It's never the same, and like they don't change color the same way every single time. You get like different color patterns and stuff. So it's really fun. Like, you have this set design, but it's different every time you look at it. And I don't know, these are just, I love them, and I keep saying they're super fun and I love them, and I can't stop saying that because it's so true. And you're probably sick and tired of me hearing me say that right now because I said it about 100 times, but I cannot get over these nails. I was dipping my hand in water again here, and like I would dip it in the water, shake it off, and then let it dry a little bit, and this is what I was getting. And I cannot with these nails. Like, they're just so cool. But that is it for this video, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.